Hello and welcome to my meditation. My name is Deborah Baker and I am so grateful that you have joined us for this little while. It is the last meditation in February, the month of love, and we are talking about how to more fully love ourselves. You ready? Let's get started. As usual, let's begin with our 3 nice, really deep breaths. Breathing in fully into our bellies, holding it for a second, and then now breathe in a little more deeply this time. Imagine thinking about filling up your lungs in your back. Hold it for a second and then release it really slowly. And then take the deepest breath you've taken all day. Just fill up all your lungs all the way down to your tailbone. For your belly, your chest, fill it all the way up and hold it for a second. And then release it really slowly. And now let's relax our bodies. I have Daisy, my trusty dog, here with me, and there's a heater in the floor of this room where I do my readings, and she is loving it. So let's do the technique where we draw everything up to the center line. So we press our feet and our knees together. Imagine like pulling our thighs to the midline, like pressing them together. Let's just do the legs first. Pull your feet together, maybe curl your toes under. Just tense all the muscles in your legs up. Hold it for a second and then let your legs and feet get heavy. And now you're all around your pelvis. So pull up your pelvic floor, tighten your lower abs, pull in your hips, your lower back. Just imagine like squeezing your pelvis. Squeeze it in for a breath cycle. And then let it go. That feels so good. And now your midsection. So pull your abs in, your side muscles, your back. Just kind of squeeze your midsection into your spine for a breath cycle. Squeeze it, and then let it go. And now let's do our hands and arms next. So I suggest you make fists and maybe curl your hands toward your inner arms. Maybe curl your lower arms up to your upper arms and squeeze your arms into your sides and just kind of tense all the muscles in your arms and hands, like pulling all your muscles to the bone. Hold it for a breath cycle. And then let it go. Feel that wonderful blood flow. And now let's do the same to the rib cage. So pull all of the muscles around your ribs together. So your sides, I don't know what they're called, intercostal muscles maybe, in the front of your rib cage. And pull your shoulders, your shoulder blades, either your shoulder blades back. Yeah, pull them back. Pull your arms to your sides and just squeeze your rib cage gently, like you're giving it a hug, for one breath cycle. And let that go. And now head, neck, and shoulders. So pull your shoulders forward. Sorry, I didn't mean to mess up my mic. Pull your shoulders forward, tuck your chin. Pull all your face muscles tense. Your shoulders up to your ears. Imagine you're squeezing all the muscles in your head, neck, and shoulders. Squeeze them for one breath cycle. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And let it go. Let's just take a breath or two to savor that feeling of your body relaxing. Because I know a lot of us don't let our bodies relax all day and sometimes all night. I'm a very vivid dreamer at times. Sometimes I wake up tired because I've been busy in my dreams. So I asked my guides, actually last week they gave me my marching orders for last week and this week's meditation. And last week we talked about easy does it. And this week we're going to talk about one moment at a time. So one of the kindest things we can do for ourselves is to be present in the moment. So I invite you to let go of yesterday and tomorrow, later on today, earlier today, and just be fully present in this moment. Because this moment is the only thing that is real. Everything else exists in your mind. But this moment is happening. And you are being present to yourself and for yourself. So I am getting over a virus that kind of laid me low for a few days, and that's when you have your schedule cleared unexpectedly, that's when you find out what your thoughts are doing. And that's when you find out, kind of, if you're sick, you don't want to be in the present moment because it's not really fun. But as we move through our days, the more we can be present to what is, the easier and more fluidly our lives go. Similarly to easy does it, living life one moment at a time means we don't have to fuss about the future. We don't have to think about, well, what if? You know, what if is like taking poison. When we think what if, to me that's like poison. Similar to when we think why. There is no good answer for why. And it's interesting that on our tests, you know, when we were or are in school, and teachers will ask questions like, why did the Battle of the Bulge happen? You know, honestly, there are 1,000, maybe more answers to that question. If you ask yourself, why did I choose to have this life right now? There's probably hundreds of answers to that question. And none of them are right or wrong. So what why does, it gets us caught on this merry-go-round that takes us out of the present moment. And what if does the same thing. And a lot of times we get caught up in doing what's in front of us, get so caught up in doing what's in front of us that we forget what we really came here to do. And I know that might seem like a contradiction, but when we are in the present moment, it's not a contradiction to think, okay, in this moment I am evaluating what was my soul's idea for having this human life. And so let's take a moment and think about one answer to that question. What did my soul have in mind in choosing this human experience? I think it's really important to support our own priorities. When we compare ourselves to others, we are comparing ourselves to their priorities. So I've actually had lots of friends over the years who have, one of their like top priorities was to have a beautiful, neat and clean, orderly home. And while that is on my list, it's certainly not at the top of my list. Having a happy family around me is way higher on that list. So when I walk into someone's home and I see it, you know, just neat as a pin and beautiful and clean, comparing my home that's usually a bit rough around the edges to that isn't fair. It isn't reasonable because that's not my priority. So let's take a moment and honor our own priorities. So let's think about what our priorities are. What are your priorities for this human experience right now, right in this moment? And first of all, I encourage you not to beat yourself up if you realize that one of your priorities was to have a more peaceful life, and then you think about your planner and it is overscheduled. Don't beat yourself up about it. Revisiting our priorities is important. And when we revisit them, we can say, you know what, I'm really on target with that. I was beating myself up because I was comparing myself to someone else's priorities. But when I look at what my priorities are, I can see that my life is aligned with my priorities. And I realized when we had that quiet time that doing these meditations, you, the people who tune in, are a priority to me. It's important to me to make these meditations available every Tuesday and to fill up my YouTube channel with it, not because I want to have all these followers or I want to have a full channel or anything like that, but because I feel that Spirit is using me to convey a message to those people that, you know, wish to hear it. And it's not up to me to decide who that is. And it's really, as you've probably figured out if you listen to my meditations for long, often not up to me what the message will be. I can think about what I want it to be, but when I sit down here to record them, Spirit talks through me. And it's funny because even when I post them and I channel the description on the YouTube channel or on the Facebook post, I don't realize that it's channeled until I go back and read it the next day. And I suggest that probably most of us channel, meaning we allow Spirit to speak in, through, and as us more often than we realize. And the way to realize it is to go back and reread what you've written or revisit what you may have heard yourself say. So one moment at a time means that we trust the flow of the universe. That we trust that we are infinite spirits having a human experience, that the one presence in the one power and the one power is moving in, through, and as us. And so this moment to the next moment to the next moment is all divinely guided. And it is easier and more satisfying when we let go and allow Infinite Spirit to take the wheel, to guide us, to guide our thoughts, our words, and our actions. So we just had a full moon over the weekend, and full moons often keep me up, which they did, but also, and you may have found this too, full moons cause me to have vivid dreams. And one of my recurring dreams is that I am showing someone my home, and I find these rooms that are beautiful and wonderful, and I hear myself saying, yeah, we don't use this room. And that's a metaphor, and I think it's for me as well as you. For I have gifts, I have power I'm not using. And so I invite you, as you live life one moment at a time, to invite Infinite Spirit and to reveal to you gifts that you have that you may not be using. And also for you to see the value of a day that you just take off, that you don't do anything, you clear your calendar. And I don't mean like I just had where I was sick, but a day like today where it was sunny and I found a chair in my backyard and I brought a book outside and I sat and read my book in the sun, and it was absolutely wonderful. And it wasn't a book I should read. It was an entertaining novel. And I invite you to take care of yourself in that way, whether it's reading or, whatever your hobbies may be. Living life one moment at a time also means living your joy, seeking out your joy, doing things that you love to do, so that at the end of the day you can look back with a smile on your face and say, you know what? I loved this day. It was great. I lived it one moment at a time, and I did at least one thing that brings me great joy. And it could be just being really present while you drink your coffee or tea or whatever it is you drink in the morning, or eat breakfast. Just being present in the moment, like you are right now, to this meditation. Congratulations. As you become willing and open, Spirit will give you more and more and more opportunities to be present in the moment. Take another deep breath and invite all of the thoughts that no longer serve you, whether they are concerns about the past, regrets, or worries about the future. Invite Infinite Spirit in to just erase that nonsense. To take out of your mind anything you can't control, anything that you are powerless over. So take another nice, really deep breath. I invite you to make a commitment to live at least the rest of this day, or maybe tomorrow, or maybe all week, to live one moment at a time, to be fully present as a way of deeply loving and respecting yourself. And remember that you are whole and perfect exactly as you are. In the one presence moving in, through, and as me honors and recognizes the one presence moving in, through, and as you. Namaste. Have a wonderful week.